anything but routine. Travels in China, anything but routine. Josh Isaac.
Wamba? Wamba? My girlfriend Liz and I were traveling in Beijing. We were trying to find an internet cafe. Wamba? Wamba? And we were getting the same sort of blank stares from the locals that I'm getting from you right now. As it turns out, Chinese is very subtle. And the word for internet cafe is actually Wangba. So we were wandering around asking people if they knew where our turtle was. Turtle? Turtle? In China, nothing was routine. I remember sitting on an airplane, and I remember this very vividly because I am frightened of flying, and my seat was glued to the seat. We were mid-takeoff, and the airplane was, oh, maybe like that, when a water bottle comes falling down the aisle. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And then a woman got out of her seat and starts climbing down the aisle to get it. I shouldn't need to remind you, the seatbelt sign was still on. A minute later, she comes climbing back up the aisle with her water bottle. Can you imagine if you had done that out of LAX? The flight attendant would not. He would have smacked you. And then maybe he would have grabbed a beer and gotten off and hopped off the emergency exit. While we were still mid-takeoff, a little girl decided she needed to use the restroom. What a mess. I'm just kidding. The woman with the water bottle pushed her back into her seat. About halfway through the flight, we start to land. And I thought this is a little strange, because we're not yet in Beijing. And I looked out the window, and there are miles and miles of desert surrounding our airplane. And I look out the window, and I can't see the airport. The runway is a little teeny tiny. And I hear the captain come on the intercom. He says, well, I'm not sure what he said. It sounded like womble, 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 womble. So I asked the flight attendant, do you know where we are? No clue. He had no clue where we were. So we landed, and everything worked out fine, got to Beijing eventually. One time when we were in a place called Yangshu, we decided, let's go for a hike. Anything but routine. Yangshu is a place with lots of nice steep hills. And we were hiking up when we were joined by a gaggle of little old ladies, 4 or 5 of them. So I was surprised to see them with us. I figured out what they were doing, though, when they started to offer us bottles of water. And I thought to myself, well, I don't need a bottle of water. As you guys might imagine, I am an experienced hiker. So I didn't need a bottle of water. So I told them, we're not thirsty, we don't need a bottle of water. They didn't seem to understand that. I also told them, we don't have any money. They didn't seem to understand that either. So we started to walk a little faster. We tried to hike a little faster. And these little old ladies, would you know, kept up with us. Look, some of these ladies were, I'm not kidding, in their 80s. But it was a little hot, so they started to fan us. So we're trying to run away from them up this hill in Yangshu, and they're fanning us. And I kept trying to get them to fan themselves because it was really hot, but I think they were beating us up the mountain. Once we finally got to the top, I ended up giving them some money because, in fact, I was thirsty. But I resolved when I got down to figure out how to avoid this in the future. And so I considered myself fortunate when I found a vendor that gave me this shirt. And I said, what does it mean? She said, well, it means no money here. So I went and I wore the shirt and I wore it to the Beijing Wall. Didn't work. Little old ladies following us along the whole time. When I got home, I asked my coworker, who's Chinese, what does this shirt mean? And he said, oh, it means no money. Because I thought maybe I had been tricked. But I didn't quite believe him. And I said, what does this shirt mean? He says, all right, well, there's an old Chinese proverb that says, the man stole some money, and he was scared that he would get caught. So he buried the money in his backyard. Now, he was still scared, so he decided, I'll make it look like a tomb, so I'll put a grave on top of the hole. Now, he was still scared of being caught, so on the gravestone, he wrote, no money here. His neighbor actually saw him burying the money and dug it up and took the money. But his neighbor didn't want to get caught either, so his neighbor put a sign on the grave that said, your neighbor did not take this money. So I found out the shirt didn't quite mean what I thought it meant. No money here, but I guess I deserved it because I actually did have money.